So today let's talk a little bit about batteries and what they are and what they can do for you. Because to be honest with you, when you're new into solar, it's very difficult to understand all the concepts. And some people think they know what a battery is, but it's quite different from a little battery you put in a flashlight. So think of your battery as a fuel tank. And when it comes to a solar system, there are a lot of fuel tanks, and the nice thing about them is you can add to this fuel tank and you can put more and more batteries into it, making it larger and larger if it's sized right and you got the right type of batteries. Now, batteries are the storage of DC power, which then becomes energy when it's stored. And there's a lot of people online that will give you a hard time confusing some of this terminology. I did it quite a bit when I first started. I still do it these days. But it is called power when you're talking about the existence of power right now. You walk up to a wall plug, that is power. There's how much power is available to run a particular device. How much power does it take to run your phone? How much power does it take to run a charger for your phone? Then you have energy, and energy is what is stored in the battery. It takes that power over a period of time and stores it, and that's how they measure how big your fuel tank is. Usually you'll see this measured in amp hours, but just know that there's a difference there. Also keep in mind that I am only going to cover lithium iron phosphate batteries. I am not going to cover lithium batteries, which don't have the phosphate in them, and that's more what you would find in your cell phone, or lead acid batteries might be what you find in your car or your truck or that type of thing. And not to say these batteries can't be used. I stick with lithium iron phosphate because I like the way that the lithium iron phosphate is much more stable, it's safer, and it has a much longer lifespan. So let's talk a little bit about lifespan. Even using your battery 80 to 100% per day, and I have several that I do this, entire systems like the one you see behind you right now. I use my battery all day long, charge it up, and then run it down overnight, most of the time overnight. I do this when I am running things like a bit miner or stuff like that, and I use it as a storage tank, a gas tank. Now, if I was running a house, chances are I wouldn't be using it for that. Or if I was in an RV, I wouldn't be draining it all the way down. But you get the point. It is safe to use a lithium iron phosphate battery 80 to 100%. Whereas if you do something like that with a lead acid battery, for example, if you use it more than 50%, you can cause it actual damage to the battery that is irreparable. Keep in mind that voltage of a battery shapes your system. So what do I mean by this? I mean that when your system is built, based on how much power you need to pull at any given time, the energy that's stored in those batteries is converted to a voltage. Either a 12 volt, a 24 volt, or a 48 volt system are the most common. And then from there, you may use that power directly to run, let's say, a light in your RV, or you may use it with an inverter, and you would invert that power to AC power like you would find in your wall plug. But how much power you need really depends on what type of battery system that you need to have and how big that battery needs to be. Talking about lithium iron phosphate lifespans, let's discuss this a little bit further. Most lithium iron phosphate batteries come with a warranty somewhere around, and warranties are very subject to criticism simply because most of these companies don't exist long enough for it to really matter. But let's look at the lifespans that they're talking about. Let's say the minimum I would usually see is around 3,000 cycles, and most of them have 5,000 to 6,000 cycles, and there are some that are more. We'll talk about some that are more. But even at 3,000 cycles, you're talking about 8 years of draining that battery down and charging it up every day. So these are not like your typical cell phone battery where a year or so in, all of a sudden this lithium battery stops taking a charge, loses capacity and stuff like that. Even after the cycle rate, the suggested cycle, let's say it's 6,000 cycles, which would be about 16 years. Even after that, they claim that you would still have 80% of the capacity. So you don't lose the battery like you would with your cell phone, where it just basically won't stay charged. You actually get to still use it. You just have a reduced capacity. So it's important to understand that. With some of these batteries, you've seen warranties as long as 15,000 cycles. Now, I want to put that in perspective. If you cycle this battery every single day, from 10% to 100% every day, you are looking at a 41-year lifespan. Chances are the batteries are going to outlive us. And my reason for stating this is a lot of people do whatever they can to preserve their battery to make them last longer. And what I would like to point out is this isn't the old days of lead acid. You don't need to preserve your batteries. You need to use them to the fullest extent. They are going to age out before they deteriorate to the point where they're no good. Let's talk about lithium iron phosphate batteries, BMS systems. A BMS system is a battery management system which helps you maintain safety functionality, charge rates, maximum discharge rates, overcurrent, undercurrent. It shuts the battery down when you try to use it too far past its safety point. It shuts it off when you try to turn it up too much. Now, I'd like to point out that battery management system there is an emergency stopgap. It's not there to stop things on a regular day-to-day basis. And if you're using it that way, you should really consider putting some alternative in place. For example, if you're overcharging it and you're using the battery to shut off, you should get a charger that automatically shuts off when it's supposed to. That way your battery acts as a backup. BMS acts as a backup emergency system, not the primary system to stop charging. Let's also think about the lithium iron phosphate. Cold matters, and it matters a lot. When you get down into freezing temperatures, a lot of your lithium iron phosphate batteries cannot charge at those rates without doing harm. They can discharge, but they cannot charge. Now, this means that you're going to want to consider, if you live in a cold region, you're going to want to consider one that comes with a heater. You're going to want to consider where you put the battery, and you're going to want to consider how cold is cold for your region. So that's something. And then last but not least, I want to show you a diagram here and talk a little bit about the common issue that you will see with this diagram. And by the way, if you're interested in this diagram, there's a link down below where you sign up for the email list. I'll send you this diagram. Along with it, I'll send you an American Wires Guide chart that shows you what kind of wire sizes you need. And I'll give you links to the other videos in this series where we talk about charge controllers and solar panels and inverters. Anyway, as you can see from this diagram here, matching batteries to the system is the most common issue that you're going to run into when you're doing this. And that means that if you notice down here at the bottom, these batteries here, let's assume these are 12-volt batteries. That means that this has to match what the charge controller has so that it's charging a 12-volt battery, and it needs to match what is on the inverter over here so that your inverter is using the power from 12 volts and converting it to, or inverting it into 120 volts. It's very important, and this is why it's so important to start with understanding your usage so that you know what size battery you're looking for. I hope this video has done you some good. Again, if you're interested in looking at some diagrams and understanding how to build a solar system, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I got 4 videos in the first phase of this, which are going to be based around batteries, charge controllers, solar panels, and inverters. And then we'll move into phase 2, where we'll go into more in-depth things like fuses, off-on switch, bus bars, shunts, and shut-off switches. So anyway, I hope this helps. We'll see you on the next video.